Hi guys, welcome back to another fun conversation with your favorite tech girl, Aarushi. To those of you who don't know me, hi, my name is Aarushi. I have about 7 years of experience building tech products, and in this channel we talk about all things tech, product and general career adulting. I have about 7 years in which I have worked as a developer, then I became a marketeer, then I became a product manager, and now I'm also creating content. So in this journey, I have learned a bit, and this channel is just my way of giving back. So coming to the topic at hand, this time I really spent a lot of energy trying to understand what is it that you guys seek. I've done a lot of videos. I obviously understand you guys a little bit. You're someone who wants to break into product management, wants to maybe understand a little bit about product management or careers in tech. And today I'll tell you what is the best way, the absolute best way of breaking into product management. Don't trust me? Watch along. So without further ado, let's do some drum rolls. And yes, product analyst. That is my answer to anyone who wants to get into product but does not have the right experience, does not have any experience, does not have an MBA, does not even have a management background and so on and so forth. It's okay. Even if you don't have an engineering background, that's okay. Product analyst is your way in, and this profile is usually open to anyone if they can prove themselves worthy of it. And how does one do it? I'll tell you. In this video, we're going to cover three main things. Basically, I'll tell you what a product analyst is. Second, I'll tell you why it is so cool. And three, I'll tell you how you can become it as well. So let's get going. Now, before we do, one call out. While I'm calling it a product analyst, but I will cover both the roles of analysts that are usually there in companies, the product analyst and the business analyst. Now, how are they two different? A product analyst is basically someone who sits with the product team, is aligned with the product team, and hence obviously product analyst, and the business analyst is aligned with the business team. But how does that make their job different? So see, let's keep the product and the business out of it. Let's just talk about analyst for a moment. An analyst is someone who works with big data, who not entirely big data, but they can work with Excel as well, but someone who works with data big enough that you can run some kind of modeling on it, you can do some kind of analysis on it and try to unearth insights through it. Now this analyst, because they have to work with data, have to be comfortable with data, have to be someone who understands the basic concepts of regression, data modeling and so on and so forth. Not to make you confused, but it's fine if you don't know them. It's just that you need to know a few technical terms to be called an analyst. You need to be comfortable with data to be called an analyst. Now, all of these things are extremely buildable, extremely coachable, and are absolute must for building a product career. In fact, not even a product career, but a career in business also requires a decent understanding of analytics. If you're someone who's data savvy, and it's okay if you're not there yet, we'll build it. I mean, to be really honest, maybe 5 years ago I wasn't as data savvy as I am now. Experience builds the skills, so we'll figure that out in the second half of the video. But yes, that's what an analyst is. He looks at data and analyzes it. Now, the business and the product part of it are what makes the two profiles different. For a business analyst, he would look at business processes, business flows, and try to understand where there can be, efficiencies or gaps. However, a product analyst would look at the product flows and try to see where are gaps there. Let me explain through an example. Let's say I am a business analyst in Amazon, or let's say I'm an analyst in Amazon and I work in the team of ads. And in ads, now there is one guy who's a business analyst and one guy who's a product analyst. The business analyst would likely look at the business ecosystem. So probably for running ads on Amazon, you have to first put up an ad on their software, and then maybe there's a team that actually looks at that ad, QCs it, and then approves it. So now this team that actually QCs the ad and then approves it, there's a cost to that team. And then there's a flow through which they would QC. They would probably have a bunch of steps that they have to go through. Maybe there is some kind of approvals, acceptance flows, and so on and so forth that they have to go through. Now the business analyst would actually analyze this entire business flow and try to figure out where are there inefficiencies. Maybe we have hired too many people, we didn't need as many people to do the QC. Maybe the approval processes that we have are very cumbersome, we can come up with a better process. Things like that. So that's your business analyst. Your product analyst, on the other hand, might look at the flow where the advertiser put up the ad on the platform. So when he was putting the ad, how many people started putting the ad, but how many ended up putting one? Maybe there's a gap there. What happened? Where did the person drop off? And so on and so forth. So an analyst would look at that data which is on the product. The business analyst would likely look at the data which is a little bit off the product. So that's the difference. But these roles really, end up overlapping. At times there could be only one of the two and they do both the jobs. There are a lot of startups that happens, but ideally these two should be separate profiles. So that is the job of the business analyst or the product analyst. Now coming to part 2, why I think it's an awesome role. The analyst role is usually it's an entry level position. An APM is usually the entry level position in product management, but there's also an analyst profile which might be parallel or maybe lower than APM as well. That's okay. If you're someone who's just starting their career, please don't be married to titles. To be honest, when I started my product career, I joined as an APM and I was right after my MBA. So I felt a little dejected that I was offered an APM role. But I think since I was an APM, I had that playing field. I could just make a lot of mistakes. There was not a lot of limelight on me, so I can learn in the backstage. And then when I finally got the opportunity of being a PM, I shone, right? So it's fine, everything has, every dark cloud has a silver lining. So please don't get too agitated if things don't exactly go your way, right? So anyway, coming back, so an analyst could be, a further level down role, maybe in a few organizations, but that's okay. It gives you again that level playing field. It gives you the exposure to how product really thinks, right? So usually, and even a business analyst can move into product roles. The good thing with business analyst also is that they're also exposed to the business side. So business analyst is probably a little bit more broader. You can, from business analyst, you can move to product or business both, but from product you have kind of chosen your path a little bit. I mean, I'm not saying that product analysts can't become business analysts, but it's less likely than the other way around. So I would say if you're getting a business analyst role, that's even better because you get exposed to the business flows as well, and maybe you can grow in that side. Now coming back to why it's so awesome. So see, like I said, it's a entry level role, so it gives you you can just play in the shadows, you can learn the ropes, but it is in the right direction. It's in product. It gives you an understanding of how data is measured, and I genuinely believe that whoever understands data has the maximum power in a room. So if you are someone who understands data, has the capability of bringing out insights from data, well, my friend, build that skill really well, because someday you'll be really admired for it. Someday you will be really respected for it. Someday you will feel powerful because you can pull out that data. So that's why I think an analyst profile is extremely good, and you will shine once you become a product manager because you'll have that background. In fact, a lot of teams, like for example ads where I work as well, I actually look out for CVs that have some kind of analyst background in them, because ads really is a data intensive business, and here we do need people who have data background, right? So there might be teams, so there'll be absolutely no team which will not take you because you come from an analyst background, but there might be some teams that will actually pick you because you come from the analyst background. Sorry. So it's definitely useful. Now coming to the third part, how can you become one? The good thing with an analyst is that you can actually learn this through courses. So there are three parts of this. The part one is learning about data querying, the second is data visualization, and the third is preparing for interviews. So the first thing is data querying. This happens usually through R or through SQL, so you can learn one of these languages. There are a lot of courses that I have linked down in the description below. There are a lot of free courses as well as paid ones that I have linked to, so you can check them out. This is not an affiliation, I mean, I just found them to be useful, so you can check out those courses. So that's just for querying. Now what is data querying? Data querying is when I go to a DB or when I go to a source of data and I tell them, hey, if customer is equals to Aarushi, tell me what is her date of birth. So somewhere in the database we might have stored this information, and you can go ahead and query this. Or for customer is equals to Aarushi, what was the last step that she did before she dropped off the platform. So you can do all of these querying to the database if you know the querying language. That's part number one. The second is data visualization. Now on data visualization, again, there are a lot of tools, but I think Looker is something that is usually used, and otherwise there's Excel or slides also in which you can put in some kind of data visualization. But if you understand Looker, and there are a few templates that you can go through, there are a lot of YouTube videos again that I've linked to in the description below. You can refer to any one of them and you can learn a little bit about Looker visualization. It pains me a little to say this, but a lot of your value is also about how people perceive you. They don't know what you're thinking inside here, but they know what you're showing, right? They will only value what you show. So an analyst also has to be extremely good with the way they're presenting their work, and that usually happens through the data visualization. So if you're trying to go into the data analyst path, your data visualization angle, the game there should also be decently strong. Of course, your SQL or your data querying game has to be the strongest, but this game also needs to be strong enough. And now coming to the third part, preparing for interviews. Now that you've learned the hard skills, you have to go to the softer ways and crack that interview, my friend. Now this is easier for an analyst. Of course, getting that shortlist always is hard, but if you have those skills mentioned in your CV, if you have a few certificates mentioned in your CV, I think you might still get it. You can do a few, freelance projects on Fiverr. You can find a lot of those opportunities, or you could, some of these courses also have a project at the end, so you can also add that in your CV. So I'm sure you'll get a shortlist eventually. Once you do, the interview is all about showing your hard skills off, being able to answer some of those questions that will come in the interview. The second is, of course, having good soft skills. Now an analyst is someone who works directly, if he's a business analyst, and directly with business, and a product analyst and directly with product managers. So they have to do a little bit of stakeholder management. So you need to be someone who can communicate ideas very well, someone who can work in a team, is collaborative, and so on. So all of those softer angles also play if you're applying for a product analyst or a business analyst role. So work on them as well. I have done a video before on this, and I have put that here, so please check that out as well. But that's about it. Once you have done all of these things, I'm sure you will crack your analytics interview. And if you've done all of this and you still feel you're not getting it, ping me in the comment section below, and I will personally make it my life's goal to get it for you. And with that, my friends, I'm done with this video. I will see you in the next one, but you do not go away. First, like and subscribe to the channel if you like the content, and share it with your friends if you did. Come on, go. All right, I'll see you in the next one. Ta-da!